So anyone that really knows me should expect this video to be made. Because I know about both sides of this topic. Pro wrestling and football. So who better to talk about it than me? You know, probably a lot of people, to be honest with you, but you're stuck with me. Vince McMahon, XFL to return in 2020 without gimmicks. I'm excited because, I remember watching the original XFL back in 2001. I like the football, but, the gimmicks and stuff, not so much. Don't get me wrong, the cheerleaders were hot, so there was that. But other than that, no. WWE founder and chairman Vince McMahon announced Thursday he is giving a professional football league another go. It will be called the XFL, the same name of the league McMahon and NBC tried for one season in 2001, but it won't rely on flashy cheerleaders and antics as its predecessor did, he said. Okay, the antics, that's fine. Keep the cheerleaders. We like flashy cheerleaders. I mean, come on. Most guys do, and some women. I'm just saying, it doesn't hurt. Just the overemphasis does. McMahon said he is the sole funding source for the league, which is slated to begin in January 2020. Its first season will have 8 teams around the country playing a 10-week schedule. The initial outlay of money is expected to be around $100 million, the same amount of WWE stock McMahon sold last month and funneled into Alpha Entertainment, the company he founded for the project. I'm hoping that it will turn out better because, like I said, I love football. And, this time of year gets kind of sparse because, you only get a few games with the playoffs and the Pro Bowl and then the Super Bowl, and then that's it. Because a lot of Americans don't watch Canadian football. So it's kind of nice to have, another league. It would be kind of nice. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a success. And hopefully it grows. I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm just, and I will, if I get a chance, be sure to watch because, like I said, I love football. So there's that. I wanted to do this since the day we stopped the other one, McMahon told ESPN in an exclusive interview. A chance to do it with no partners, strictly funded by me, which would allow me to look in the mirror and say, you were the one that screwed this up, or you made this thing a success. McMahon told reporters on Thursday afternoon that he has had no initial talks with media entities. Which, let's be honest, the first season, I wouldn't hate to see it streamed like on their website. Maybe the next season get some media partners and, coverage and go from there. One mark of the new league, McMahon said, will be faster games. The ideal running time, he said, would be 2 hours. Which, let's be honest, NFL games can get a little long in the tooth. Especially when they're close and then they go into overtime. Then you're looking like 4 hours. So, 2 hours, not a bad window. As for the timing of the announcement, 2 years before the league's debut, many might point to McMahon's relationship with President Donald Trump, who this fall criticized the NFL for allowing its players to kneel and sit during the national anthem. McMahon said players in his league will not be given the forum to take a personal stance while on the playing field. McMahon's wife, Linda, heads the Small Business Administration in Trump's cabinet. First off, that's the only political job she's able to get because she's run twice for Senate and lost both times. Secondly, in a way, I can understand the whole political thing because, the First Amendment does protect against, protect freedom of speech. From the government, not your boss. And as we'll soon get into, the league is owned by him. The teams will be owned by McMahon, not other individuals. So I can understand where he's coming from. So, but when you look at the new logo, kind of gives you a hint as to his views on the whole thing. There's the logo. You can see what I mean. Red, white, and blue. Which, personally, I wouldn't have gone with if for no other reason, the NFL's logo is red, white, and blue, the Arena Football League's logo is red, white, and blue, and now the XFL's also. Personally, I would have gone with the original logo, but he is wanting to, make sure, hey, this is a different league. It's not a continuation of the original. So, but I mean, that's just me, because red, white, and blue's kind of played out in football logos. But like NFL, AFL, now the XFL, the Houston Texans, New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills. People don't want social and political issues coming into play when they are trying to be entertained, McMahon said. We want someone who wants to take a knee to do their version of that on their personal time. Despite his relationship with President Trump, McMahon told reporters he had no idea whether President Trump will support this. McMahon said being the only owner of all the teams will allow him to do whatever he wants. Okay, I will admit that line's a little disconcerting when you realize he's an owner of a wrestling company also. I'm sorry, sports entertainment. From an outsider's perspective, they could look at that and say, wait, the wrestling guy owns this league, right? And you tell him, yeah. So he owns all the teams, right? Yeah. Oh, it's fixed. Instantly. And that is the one thing I have against the single owner aspect. Because it's like, do whatever he wants. That could make it too easy to say, okay, this team's getting good ratings or ticket sales or whatever. We want them to win. So fix it fix the games. But that, like I said, that's my only complaint against the single owner thing. I can say, here are the rules. As long as you are playing football in the stadium for us, you follow these rules. Now that I can understand completely. McMahon also said he would preclude any player with a criminal record. Well, that really whittles down the talent pool, I'm just saying. We are evaluating a player based on many things, including the quality of human being they are, McMahon said. If you have any sort of criminal record or commit a crime, you aren't playing in this league. Yet, he's employed guys in the WWE with criminal histories. Booker T, one of my favorites. Armed robbery as a teenager. Nathan Jones in the mid-2000s, the Australian did time in a prison for armed robberies. I mean, those are the first two that jump off my head instantly. But I mean, I think it's a little hypocritical, especially when some of the crimes are, pot possession. That's nothing compared to friggin' armed robbery. Oh yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Iron Sheik both caught with cocaine. Rob Van Dam with pot. And of the rampant people that have been caught with pills. It's a little hypocritical, if you ask me, to say, oh, it's okay for wrestlers, but not football players. I mean, that's just, me. McMahon was asked by reporters specifically about Johnny Manziel, Colin Kaepernick, and Tim Tebow playing in the XFL. I guarantee you he would welcome Tim Tebow with open arms. But Colin Kaepernick, oh no, he's not coming in simply because of the whole kneeling thing. He's the one that actually started it, so yeah. I mean, good God, they won't let him. He's blackballed from the NFL, so it makes you think McMahon's going to let him. Manziel, the former Texas A&M quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner, had some legal issues. Manziel was charged with a misdemeanor that carried a penalty of up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine after he was accused of hitting and threatening a former girlfriend. But he reached a dismissal agreement that ultimately could clear him of the charges. You want someone who does not have any criminality associated whatsoever with them. Even if you have a DUI, you will not play in the XFL, McMahon told reporters. Oh, that's a really good quote by him, because one of the Usos, one of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, was recently busted for DWI or DUI, I can't remember. Yet, he's still employed, still a champion, but a football player, not so much. I wonder why. Oh yeah, can't threaten the cash cow apparently. So that will probably eliminate some of them, not all of them. If Tim Tebow wants to play, he can very well play. Manziel tweeted at McMahon to express his interest in the league. And hashtag XFL 2020 at Vince McMahon. Of course. But I mean, let's be honest. Johnny Football's not getting a shot. And don't get me wrong, it's not that he's not talented. He did good, especially in the latter part of his second season. But if he could have kept his nose out of trouble, he'd still be in the NFL. One of the main problems with the ill-fated previous XFL was timing. The first games were played a year after the concept was announced. Adding an additional year, McMahon said, will allow for a better product. Teams will be formed in 2019. Which he's absolutely right. If it's officially formed like in 2018, and they're going to play in 2018, but he's been working like a decade on getting everything ready, teams and stadiums, players, and everything ready for like the last decade, and then announces it today and saying, oh, we're starting in 6 months. It's the official league kickoff or whatever. That's different than saying, okay, here's what we're doing, and then starting. I'm of the belief you don't announce until you're a good ways into the process. So that you don't say, okay, we're doing this, but it's going to take, 5 years to get everything ready, and just make people wait and wait and wait, and they'll lose interest. No, you work on it and work on it and work on it, and then you announce it for a shorter time period, so people's interest is still piqued. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's what I would do. It's extremely important that we have time to get together and get them practicing so we can have a quality product, McMahon said, which is true. That was one thing that snake bit the original XFL. Players didn't have time between the beginning of the off season to the beginning of the preseason and regular season to play, to practice together, gel, learn playbooks, that sort of thing. One of the reasons McMahon thinks he will be able to succeed, good God, 19 years after the league first failed is because, he said, television ratings no longer dictate success. Well, I officially feel old. It's hard to believe it's been 19 years, or almost 19 years. And he's not wrong about ratings. I mean, like I said, if it was me, I would stream the first season, every game, on their website or on YouTube or Twitch or wherever I could, different games, different locations maybe, so people could watch the games there and of course have, ads, that sort of thing. But that's my opinion. That's what I would do, because it would, ensure people got a chance to view every game at least once. So, more eyes on it. I mean, like I said, that's just me. That's just me spitballing. To me, the landscape has changed in so many different ways, McMahon said. Just look at technology and companies like Facebook and Amazon bidding for sports rights. Even if ratings go down, there's no denying that live sports rights continue to be valuable and continue to deliver. And right there's two options I didn't even think of, Facebook and Amazon. Hey, even Twitter has streamed NFL games. That WWE's also got a partnership with Hulu. I'm sure the XFL could work one out. One of the ways McMahon envisions enticing major media partners is to offer them something the NFL hasn't: more creative feeds of the same game. I mean, let's face it, that could be interesting. That could be really interesting, watching it on TV and seeing, the same play from one angle, and then like watching it online from a different angle. That'd be really cool to me. I mean, remember, the original XFL pioneered Skycam, where you're over the players on the field, like over the huddle and over the line of scrimmage. That was starting the XFL, not the NFL. So, the original XFL did have a lasting impact, I'm just saying. And that doesn't include Tommy Maddox joining the Steelers. Yeah, that's something I'm hoping that doesn't come back. The nicknames and stuff on the backs of the jerseys, like Rod, He, Hate Me, Smart. While it was cool as a novelty, if your league wants to be taken seriously, definitely don't do that. But admittedly, that was a gimmick. He said no gimmicks, so here's hoping. I don't think people want to see the same thing when they're streaming as they see on television, McMahon said. That's boring. I think fans want it shot in a totally different way, and I think there's an immersive opportunity that's more interactive to the game. McMahon said seeing the NFL's troubles, which included a second consecutive year of decline in ratings, didn't have to do with the timing of his announcement. I'm a little dubious on that statement by Vince because, let's face it, the odds are it did have something to do with it. The start of this league has nothing to do with the NFL's troubles, McMahon said. What has happened there is their business, and I'm not going to knock those guys, but I am going to learn from their mistakes as anyone would if they were tasked with reimagining a new football league. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy told ESPN that the league will have no comment on McMahon's startup league. Oh, come on. You can at least wish them well. It's not like they're going head to head. At least be courteous, but no. Over the next couple of months, the XFL will announce the 8 cities, expected to be large and medium-sized markets, where the teams will play. Team names will follow, which I'm looking forward to, because they had some good ones before, like the Memphis Maniacs, I liked, the San Francisco Demons, the Birmingham Thunderbolts, Every city is on our radar, McMahon told reporters. I beg to differ. I know damn certain that my town is not on their radar. So, to say it's a little grandiose, if you will. Please give one to Cleveland because hopefully their team would win. And Cleveland needs a winning football team. Let's be honest. They haven't won the football game since 2016. And no, the preseason doesn't count. Sorry. Then will come selection of players for the 40-man rosters. Salaries will be determined, but McMahon said players will make more money for winning. Understandable. One thing I don't like is 40 men on a roster. That's not enough. 40-man rosters are not big enough. Hell, colleges have 70-man rosters. Pros, 53. The NFL, 53s. But I can promise you a 40-man active roster is not enough. To me, that's common sense, McMahon said. Everyone in America loves when they perform, they get a raise or a bonus. That's capitalism. Which, let's be honest, I'll be honest with you, I never thought of it that way, but he's not wrong. Although the season is only 10 weeks, McMahon said the contract will be a 52-week job so players can work themselves into the communities where they play. Okay, that's pretty cool. I was just assuming, you sign a 1-year contract, that's for 10 weeks, excluding playoffs and preseason. But that's pretty cool. I like that. It's not clear whether star players, should they garner national attention, will be able to jump to the NFL. Well, if they're not under contract, I wouldn't see why not. His star wrestlers, when their contracts expire, are able to jump to Impact Wrestling, New Japan, wherever. So I wouldn't see why not. One thing we are not is a developmental league for the NFL, McMahon said. Hey, there is no shame in that. I mean, NFL Europe, very respected, or eventually became NFL Europa, formerly the World League. Very respectable. And now you can see what I mean by the original logo. I would have gone with this one again. But, I mean, like I said, that's just me. McMahon said he decided to go with the XFL name even though his new league won't provide the same gimmicks that were both a hallmark and a black mark on the original league. Quite frankly, I looked at a number of things, but nothing resonated like the XFL. There's only so many things that have FL on the end of them, and those are already taken. But we aren't going to have much of what the XFL had, including the cheerleaders, who aren't really part of the game anymore. I beg to differ. The audience wants entertainment with football, and that's what we're going to give them. I beg to differ. Cheerleaders are still a part of the game. If they weren't, the NFL wouldn't have them. But, I mean, let's be honest. You name me any heterosexual football fan that doesn't like... heterosexual male fan that doesn't like cheerleaders. Let's be realistic here. That means popular names such as Tebow, the 2007 Heisman Trophy winner, won't be given priority just because they're marketable. Everyone will come in on an even playing field, McMahon said. I'm a little skeptical on that because let's face it. You could make money with Tebow, especially if you put him on a team in Florida. Maybe say around Jacksonville. But you're going to give Joe Schmo a chance at quarterback, who's nobody's ever heard of, not marketable, but Tim Tebow, marketable, people have heard of, decent quarterback. Yeah, let's be realistic. Like he said, it's capitalism. Maybe in a certain city having the old college quarterback would make sense, but only if he's the best option, McMahon said. It's the wrong thing to do just for marketing. Not really. Like I said, he's a decent quarterback. He was a decent quarterback. Still marketable. Be kind of stupid not to do. But, capitalism and all. McMahon told reporters that unlike the last XFL, he doesn't have any plans to be visible during the league's games or with the league's content. Similarly, McMahon said that there will be no crossover with the league and the WWE talent. I hope that's the case because, that's the one thing that made me cringe so hard during the first XFL. The crossover. I'm like, come on, I came to watch football, not see the Undertakers or The Rock. But I mean, like I said, I wish them well. I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst. Come on, Vinnie Mac, you can do it.